Adire Oodua, a traditional textile art form, was said to have been invented in Ile-Ife by Oduduwa, the progenitor of the Yoruba race, hence the name Adire Oodua. The word Adire means tie and dye in Yoruba, reflecting the technique used to create the fabric. I visited the Adire Oodua Textile Hub in Ife Grand Resort and Leisure, Ile-Ife, Osun State, Nigeria, where I met the director of creative design and other staff members. They gave us the historical side on Adire alongside what it represents and why this ancient tradition should be preserved.
My name is Famoriyo Richard. I'm a native of Ile-Ife. We believe that Adire making started from Ile-Ife, even for the fact that people still take Abeokuta as a commercial center for Adire. But in Ile-Ife is the place where all the Yoruba people migrated from. And because of that, anything all these people are doing, they maybe acquire the knowledge from Ile-Ife. So Ile-Ife is the cradle of Adire. Even presently in Ile-Ife, we still have the family, because before we don't have chemical using for making Adire. We use leaf and some flowers to give different type of colors. We have the kind of leaf we call indigo leaf. In Yoruba we call it elu leaf, ewe elu. And this elu leaf, you can get it even around the road, anywhere, you can just get it there. And ewe elu, and we still have some family in Ile-Ife that they call them Agbolele-elu, which means they are the origin of making Adire. That is why in Ile-Ife now, that family, the compound, they are 7 in number. And that 7 compound, they normally call them Elu family. And that Elu family, omanki won wípé origaga elu kan daro, origaga elu kan re igba aso. Because some people don't believe, but with that oriki now, some people will believe that the family exists in Ile-Ife. What is gaga? Just a branch of that indigo leaf. Re igba aso, which means to dye 200 pieces of material.
I also met the head of department of Adire Oodua Textile Hub, who put us through the making process.
I am Oluwakemi Awoyemi, head of department tie and dye, but they call me Goldie. We have put the fabric on the mat. This is what we call lale. And we have mixed our dye already. So we are going to start pouring. This we call the art of pouring. We are not dipping. Dipping is when you take the fabric and dip in the dye. But this one, we are pouring the dye on the fabric. So what I will do is, I want to mark where we will apply the dye.
Okay.
Adire Oodua textiles are made by hand using various resist dyeing methods. Typically, the fabric is tied, stitched, or painted with cassava paste to create patterns and designs. The dyer then applies indigo or other natural dyes to the fabric, resulting in vibrant and unique patterns.
We have some traditional production, but in Adire, that is textile design, we have 4 major works. And we have tie and dye, which is Adire, Tiare, that is tie and dye. Okay. And we have batik. In that batik, we have more than 2 or 3 methods. We have local batik and modern batik. Local batik is making use of cassava flour, any starch medium. It can be cassava flour, it can be normal starch. And we have what we call marbling. They call it lale. So which means that one, you don't need to use thread, you don't need to tie anything. So, and we have printing that we regarded as textile technology that won't have to do with maybe reaction of chemicals. And when you are producing maybe batik, at least we normally try as much as possible to maybe to give it name that we have to do with our own culture or our own traditional image or our own traditional name, like maybe say Oya or Ekokwakpe or Abere Klinikan. So we can use a lot of name for all this. So we have traditional name for all the design that you produce.
Is not dipping. The very, very local one is the one they dip in calabash that they used olden days dye, which you call elu. Olden days dye that they use leaves, elu leaves, and which is it gives us navy blue color. But this is a local way of making it. This very design, there's no how you can make this design by dipping the clothes. You cannot dip this type of style. You can only pour, you cannot dip. Okay. And there are some styles that you cannot pour, you have to dip. So the thing is, the dye cannot wash off because of the chemicals we used, the hydrosulfite and the caustic soda we used. The hydrosulfite is going to retain the dye on the fabric. So because of the hydrosulfite, the dye cannot wash off. The caustic soda opens the fabrics while the hydrosulfite allows the dye to stay on the fabric, so it won't wash off.
Adire Oodua fabrics hold great cultural and historical significance among the Yoruba people. Historically, Adire was used as a means of personal and cultural expression, often showcasing symbols and motifs that conveyed specific messages. The art form was traditionally practiced by women and served as a form of empowerment and economic independence.
When you want to talk of Adire, it have a lot to do with cultural, because before people put on different type of outfit, but especially when people want to maybe celebrate something that is maybe our local identity, people put on Adire, at least to showcase that yes, all what they are putting on is purely African fabric and maybe our own traditional attire. So that is how you can know that Adire maybe walk along with a cultural and ancient way.
Described as a gold mine, Adire is one of the world's famous indigenous clothes with an estimated market of over 30 million spread across the globe.
Personally, there's no way you can put Adire aside when we are talking of maybe the outfit that is maybe trending, that people are even maybe going along with. Because presently now, majority of our people are now trying to imbibe. They want to maybe put on Adire because now people realize that at least it's good to promote our own culture. Okay. And not like before that everybody want to put on maybe English dress, put on Ankara, put on lace. But this time around, people see that at least Adire is something that you put on. And by the time you put on Adire, it's something that produced manually. It's not something that when you put it on, you see a lot of people wearing that the same outfit Not like maybe Ankara or lace that maybe the factory producing it will produce maybe thousands of it. But Adire, even if you make any design for Adire, by the time you want to repeat it again, there's no way you can get it exactly the way because you are using manual production for it.
We are taking it out now for rinsing and washing. Rinsing and washing is to take the excess dye on the fabric, to wash the excess dye on the fabric off, so that after the making of Adire, when the last consumer buys it, sew it and wears it, it won't wash off and it won't stain their undies.
The huge potential of the Adire Odua market is the drive behind the establishment of the Adire Odua Textile Hub, with the goals of lifting thousands of Ife youth and women out of poverty through modern Adire training and techniques. Interestingly, the Adire Odua Textile Hub, under the leadership of Princess Ronke Ademiluyi, the CEO of the Odua Textile Hub, has already hit the ground running with various programs aimed at improving the social-economic status of Ife youths and women.